Well, hello, it's Old Man Steve, and it's Sunday. Sunday with Old Man Steve. I'm trying to make this a regular feature, but I think I missed last Sunday. Why, I don't know. You know, I'm like everybody else. I have good days and bad days, and especially when you get my age, I think maybe you have more bad days than you do good days. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed, but I do, and I enjoy doing my videos and talking to you, even though I can't see you. I know you're there, and I hope you enjoy what I talk about, which is usually just a bunch of nonsense. But I've been reflecting lately on my life and what things I've done and places I've been, and I've been a few places. I think if y'all follow me, you know I've talked about when I was a young man in my early 20s. I lived in New York, and I had friends that were pursuing careers in show business, and I was along for the ride. I really had no direction as to what I wanted to do or be. I think I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't feel like that I had the talent, so I never really pursued that. I kept thinking the business end of show business was my calling, and I did get the jobs working at theaters, working in the box office, and learning all of that, and did that for many years. So I was always involved in theater in some form or fashion, and all of my friends were also in theater as actors or set designers or stage managers or whatever. You know, that's the kind of people that I ran around with and associated with, and that carried on until when I moved back to Texas. I worked in local theater in Dallas, and that's what I did. Maybe that's why I do what I do today. I don't know. Maybe I find it easier. I'm not up on a stage acting, but I am talking and looking into a camera, which doesn't scare me or make me nervous or anything like I think acting would. I don't know that I could memorize lines from a script and go on stage and remember all of that. That was one thing that bothered me. I think is that aspect of it. There's of course so many, and maybe that's something that you learn as you go along. What do I know? Anyway, like I said, lately I've been reflecting on my life, and I do have stories. Most of my stories about when I worked in summer stock and up in New York is with the famous actors at that time. A lot of you young people probably never even heard of them. Myrna Loy, Kathryn Grayson, Tab Hunter, to name a few, Ethel Merman, Carol Channing, Diane Carroll. I worked at a theater where all those people performed, and I got to meet and know some of them. Well, I got to meet all of them, but I got to know some of them. Margaret Whiting. I have stories about all of them. But like I said, young people today wouldn't be able to relate or understand any of that because they probably never even heard of them. My biggest thrill was one of the first shows I worked at is Kathryn Grayson. Kathryn Grayson was a MGM movie star. She was in all those MGM musicals with Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra. Well, not all of them, but she was in a lot of them. And she sang. She had an operatic type voice, and she was very pretty, and she had a beautiful voice, and she did a lot of movies. If you want to look her up and see some of her movies, she was quite popular. Well, she worked at the theater that I worked at, and uh, we had an opening night party, as we did for all the shows, and she came, which a lot of the big stars would not do that because they were big. They were big stars, and but she came to the opening night party, but she didn't stay very long. She just made an appearance, and she was very nice to everyone, and everybody liked her. And the producer said that she wanted to, he pulled me aside and he said that she wanted to go back to her hotel rooms. Actually, it was a motel. The town that we were in didn't even have hotels. They had a couple of fancy motels, and that's where she was staying, as with some of the other actors that were in the show that came up from New York. And he pulled me aside and he gave me the keys to his car, and he said, "Would you take Miss Grayson back to her motel room?" And I was like, "What, me? You want me to do that?" Okay. So I went and got his car. Of course I knew how to drive. I mean, that wasn't a problem, but I'd never driven his car, which was a big, I don't remember what it was, one of those big luxury cars, but anyway, and so Miss Grayson followed me out to the car, and I opened the back door, and she said, "Oh no, I'll sit up front with you." I said, "Okay." Well, I was a nervous wreck. It wasn't that far to the motel, but I tried to make small talk, and she asked me where I was from, and I told her I was from Texas, and she said, "Well, I can tell by your accent." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know I had an accent." She said, "Yeah, you do. You have a southern." Anyway, she put me right at ease with her small talk, and she was just as nice as she could be, and very personable. And when we got there, I got out to open the door and to walk her to her room, and she said, "Oh no, I'm fine." She said, I can do it on my own." And I said, "Okay, I'll wait right here till you're into your room." And she thanked me for that, and she got out and walked to her room. But I nearly died. Here she was, this big movie star, and I had to drive her back to her room. So that was pretty exciting, and that was like one of the first shows that I had worked. I worked in the box office, and well, it was a big deal to me. It was anyway. I was starstruck, and she was really pretty, and she was a lot shorter than I thought, and she was very top heavy, if you know what I mean. She was very well put together. But like I said, I was so nervous. So I'm glad we didn't have a wreck or anything. Oh well. Well, that was a life experience, and so anyway, I thought I'd share that story with you. Anyway, look up Kathryn Grayson. She's beautiful. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Hope y'all have a nice day, and see ya. Bye.